Hi there. I'm going to tell you a story about what happens when we flip our lid or we lose control. Now, when we lose control, it's because our really big emotions have taken over. And our big emotions are like our angry emotions, our scared emotions, our worried emotions, anything that just takes over. And sometimes when it takes over, it causes our butterflies to run around in our tummy. We sometimes think that we might be feeling a bit hungry, but actually we're not. We're just feeling really, a bit sick inside. Sometimes our muscles get really, really tight. Our jaw might get tight. We might get red. Our heart beats really fast. We get huffy puffy breathing. And sometimes our mind just goes blank because the big emotions are in charge. But we can do something about that. So what I would like you to imagine is that this, my wrist, represents your brain. And I'm going to show you what happens in your brain that causes these big emotions to come to the surface. And then what we can do to get some self-control again. So can you imagine that this part here is your brainstem? And your brainstem is just responsible for all the things that you really don't think about too much, like your heart beating and your breathing. Then your thumb represents your emotion brain or your limbic system. And inside your emotion brain, you have a hippocampus, which is responsible for your good and your bad memories, and you have an amygdala. Now your amygdala is the shape of 2 almonds, so that's quite tiny, but I tell you what, it packs a massive punch. So your hippocampus and your amygdala, they're part of your limbic system or your emotion brain. And then here, our fingers represent our thinking brain or our prefrontal cortex. And your thinking brain is responsible for good decisions. This is where your learning takes place. And where you can look at things and you can choose whether or not it's a good idea or not such a good idea. But sometimes something happens, and it might be that somebody has told you that you can't play with them, or you can't find your friend, or you've lost something, or maybe somebody has even been horrible and nasty to you, or you might be actually really scared. What happens is that as soon as we start to feel these emotions, we flip our lid. And our amygdala is in charge. Our prefrontal cortex, our thinking part of our brain, is no longer in charge because it's gone offline. It's no longer connected. It's flipped. Now, when you recognize this, and remember I said you might feel it in your tummy, your breathing might change, your heartbeat might change, your muscles might get tighter. So all of these things that happen in your body, it changes and it tells you that your lid's flipped. The best way to bring your prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, back online is to breathe. Now, I'm wondering if we can practice some breathing together. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you will have heard of or know about 5-finger breathing, or maybe you know it as star breathing. So what's going to happen is you can choose to watch me, or you could choose to just hold your own hand up and then just listen as I count us through it. But what's going to happen is that first of all, we have to empty out all of the air out of our lungs. And then when we breathe in again, we have to breathe right to the bottom of our lungs. And it gets easier the more you do it. And then when we breathe in really slowly, when we get to the top, we hold our breath for just a second. And then when we get to the bottom of the breath, we do the same thing. Okay, you ready? Hold your hand up. put your finger down by the beginning of your wrist and let's empty out the air in our lungs. And breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Last time, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. And breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold. Now, if this has worked, just doing it once, then your heart will feel calmer, your breathing will be nice and slow. Those butterflies that were running around in your stomach, they will have calmed down. Your muscles will feel more relaxed. Your jaw won't be so tight, and probably you haven't got red cheeks anymore. But it doesn't always work by just doing it once. Sometimes in the beginning we need to do it 10 times or even 15 times. And you know what? It doesn't matter how long we're doing it. What matters is that the more we do it, the calmer we get. And that's what's important. So don't worry if it's not just once. I mean, it took me maybe 5 or 6 times of doing it really slowly so that my body did calm down. Because what happened was that then as my body calmed down, my frontal cortex came back online and I got to a place where I was able to make some really good, sensible choices and decisions. And I tell you what, I like being in this place where my frontal cortex is online, my thinking brain is in charge. And I know that next time, and you know too, when you flip your lid, slow down your breathing by doing star breathing or another type of breathing that you know, and bring it down. But do you know what the other thing is? As soon as you start to notice that your body is changing, your heart and your lungs and your muscles are changing, that means that your lid is starting to flip. You can start breathing straight away and you can get some self-control. Now, I know that this works and I know that you can do it, and I know that you can do it until you feel really calm. So give it a shot and don't give up and get self-control. Hi there. I'm going to tell you a story about what happens when we flip our lid. Now, flipping our lid is like when we've lost control. And when we've lost control, we're not making good decisions. And things just don't go right. We feel a bit out of sorts, a bit upset with things. But I'm going to show you how to recognize when you're starting to lose your self-control, but what you can do to get your self-control back again, because it's a really nice place to be. Okay. Can you imagine that my wrist represents your brain? Now this part is called your brain stem. And your brain stem is responsible for all the things that you really don't have to think about too much. It's your breathing and your heart beating. And then your thumb represents your emotion brain or your limbic system. And inside your limbic system, you have got a hippocampus, which is responsible for all of your good and bad memories, but also your amygdala. Now, your amygdala is responsible for your really, really big emotions. But the interesting thing is that the amygdala is only the size of 2 almonds, so it's quite tiny, but my goodness, does it pack a punch. And then here, your fingers represent your prefrontal cortex or your thinking brain. And when your thinking brain is online, you're making good decisions, you are learning, and you are able to hear what other people are saying and make some really good choices. But sometimes things happen. For example, maybe your friends have said you're not playing with them today. Maybe somebody's being mean to you. Or maybe you've lost something and you can't find it and you know you need it, or you might have forgotten to bring something to school. Or maybe something's scaring you, and it could be loud voices or not knowing what's going on. When that happens, our emotions start to take over, and then all of a sudden we flipped our lid. And when we flip our lid, our thinking brain's no longer in charge. We've lost our self-control. And that can be a scary place to be in itself. But the good news is we can do something about it. We can get our self-control back again. And the way we do that is to breathe. And the more we breathe and the slower we breathe, we will bring our thinking brain back online, and we will be in a position to make some good choices. Okay, now I'm wondering if we can do some practice of some breathing together. Now, I'm pretty sure you would know of 5-finger breathing, or another way of calling it is star breathing. And what's going to happen is that I'll talk us through it. So when my finger's going to travel up the sides of my finger, and it's going to have a pause at the top, which is just holding your breath for a couple of seconds, and then at the bottom for a couple of seconds. Okay? Now, the first thing we need to do is empty out all of the air in our lungs, and then we have to breathe from the very bottom of our lungs again. Okay, so you ready? Get your finger ready, just by the beginning of your wrist. Now, empty out all the air from your lungs. And breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Last time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Well done. Now, sometimes going through that once is enough, but sometimes it isn't. And it really doesn't matter how many sets of star breathing you do as many as it takes until your butterflies settle down in your tummy, your muscles start to relax, your heart stops beating, and it beats quite slowly, and probably you can't even really feel it, and your breathing really starts to slow down, because then you're nice and relaxed. So whether you do it once, 10 times, 15 times or more, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep on doing the breathing until you feel calm. Because when you're feeling calm, all the way through the breathing, your thinking brain is coming back online again. And when it gets to here, you are in a good place to make some really good choices and some decisions. So give it a go. You can do this, and this will give you back self-control and help you get those really big emotions under control. It's not that we shouldn't have big emotions, it's just that we need to have some control over them. So give it a shot. I believe in you, and I believe that you can do this.